Greetings and welcome to Miles More Motivation, the show that's designed to give you more happiness, fulfillment and obviously more motivation. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about changing bad habits. If you feel like, I know I've got some bad habits, I need to change them in this video. 3 simple ways, 3 common sense but not necessarily common practice ways that you can eliminate bad habits. I kind of want to tell you a story to start with. Many of you who've been watching these videos regularly will know that just around 7 or 8 years ago I had really bad eczema. So bad that at one point I was wearing bandages on my arms because if I would wear a shirt that was not black, you would see often cracked skin and the blood blood speckles on the shirt. Pretty gross. I won't bore you with any more gory details, but it was unpleasant for me. It was unpleasant for other people to see me kind of scratching, and it wasn't very nice. And it was a really beneficial thing for me. It made a big impact on me. It's probably been the biggest catalyst for my change in health over the past few years. And I want to kind of share with you in this video how I got through that and how it was really brought on by some bad habits. You know, the biggest problem with my skin back then was I had some really bad habits in my nutrition. I was eating really bad food. I was drinking lots of alcohol. I was drinking sugary drinks. I was eating sugary snacks. I was really taking poor care of myself. I was not taking good care of myself mentally. I really was not a good health role model. I was not a good health example. And this was from a kid that grew up with a mum who ran a gym for 19 years. I was not a good example whatsoever. And a catalyst for me, what changed things for me was being in a bar, meeting a girl who I was attracted to. This is pre-Mrs. Grant. Being in a bar, meeting a girl that I was attracted to, sat there for most of the conversation scratching, to which she said, anyway, I'm going to go now. When I then because I had a number, texted her to say, oh, it's good to see you, we should catch up again. She was like, yeah, no, I don't think I want to. And I was like, why not? Because I thought initially that she wanted to. She said, well, like, it's your skin, like you were just scratching a lot and I don't really like that. I find it quite unattractive. And her brutal honesty was like, kind of floored me, right? It really broke my spirit. But, you know, if you ever had in life where someone has given you some tough love, they've said something you really don't want to hear, but you know it's what you need to hear. I needed that tough love. And it was that tough love that helped me make some changes to my diet. I went and got the best help to figure out what was going wrong with my skin so I could really get to the root of what was causing it. I still get eczema challenges today. Eczema is something, it's an autoimmune disease, you never get rid of it. But I don't have the same issues that I used to have. And it's a result of that experience that was really a catalyst for me to make some changes. So I want to kind of share with you what I did, how I overcame that bad habit, and how you can overcome if you've got a habit in your life. Maybe you eat too much junk food. Maybe you judge other people a lot, right? That's slightly different. Maybe you find yourself complaining a lot and you realize that's a bad habit. I don't know what it is for you, but I want to share with you in this video 3 simple ways to overcome bad habits. Number 1, you need what I call an emotional reason. What this means is you may need a deeper reason than you currently have. Leverage is powerful. For me, getting a girl reject me in a bar because of my skin, I was like, damn, she's not even rejecting me because of my appearance. She's rejected me because of my scratching. I'm like, I can fix that. I need to fix that. So for me, having a deeper emotional reason is really powerful. I remember 15 years ago selling gym memberships and speaking to a lady who her emotional reason for joining the gym was she was scared that if she didn't lose weight, her husband might leave because they'd not been physically intimate in months. She broke down in tears and she joined, and then a few weeks later her husband joined, and the good news is they're still happily married. But her life could have been very different had she not went, enough is enough, I put too much weight on, I need to lose it, I need to get back to the real me. Powerful emotional reason. So it could be that if there's an area where you've got bad habits, you haven't kind of burned the boats, to quote the phrase, you haven't come up with a strong enough emotional reason. That needs to be your first move. Next, to kind of stack what we've just said, you need what I call future-paced consequences. So for me, when I think about that situation in that bar, talking to that girl, I went, what is the worst case scenario if I don't sort this out? Living with bandages on my arms forever. Being in a situation where I'm single forever because I don't solve this problem. And that for me was like, no way. And that was really a catalyst for me to sort that out. So think about, what is the worst case scenario of you not fixing this thing? Maybe right now you have, some self-sabotaging patterns, and you go, what would be the worst case scenario of not sorting this out? What would be the worst case scenario of not figuring out how do I become more confident? What would be the worst case scenario of not fulfilling that dream of building a business? Well, I'll have to keep working for somebody else, knowing that at any point they can sack me or reduce my pay, and knowing that I have to go to work when maybe I don't always want to. What would be the worst case scenario of not going for that thing that you really want to do? And the last thing, which is really important when it comes to wanting to change bad habits, is you need to do what I call an environmental check. Now, I have a friend who used to be an alcoholic, and he recognized that there was a point where he could have stopped drinking a lot sooner. And actually he was doing it was just a habit. So there's a point where he's an alcoholic, and he said, Miles, there was a point where I was just drinking for the sake of it. He said, I was going to the pub, I wasn't drinking as much as I used to, but I was going to the pub, spending time with people that were still alcoholics, and I knew that I needed to leave that environment. He said, I knew that going to the pub and just saying I wasn't going to drink today, that was never going to work. Because they were always like, go on, have one. One doesn't make you an alcoholic. And he was like, no, but one turned into two, turned into three. And he realized that the problem was the environment. The problem was the environment. Maybe you want to make some changes in your health. Maybe you find you eat a lot of junk food. If the 5 people that you spend the most time with eat a lot of junk food, you might want to think about changing that environment. Now, you may go, but the 5 people that I'm talking about are my wife and my 3 children. What do I do about that? I go, well, you might want to get a new peer group in addition to your family that balances out that. You might want to step up and be a role model in your household. Had a client I talked to the other day who said, my problem is, while we've been in the lockdown, my wife and kids keep cooking cakes. And I said, and I have a few and turn them down, but I don't want to make them feel bad. I'm like, wow, that's a really powerful reason to eat the cakes, because no one would want to make their kids feel bad. I said, so what about cooking healthy meals with them? And then he kind of made a list of reasons as to, I don't have the time, not this kind of stuff, right? But if you really wanted to, he could change that environment by being a role model and go, right, we're not cooking cakes this week, we're cooking healthy meals from this book. Because ultimately, if his kids see that as the norm to cook cakes, there could be weight problems, diabetes, all this kind of, anyway. The point I'm making here is, if there's an area of your life that you want to change and it's a bad habit, you want to think about, is the environment and the people that you're spending time with helping you overcome that bad habit, or are they actually hindering you? Are the cupboards filled with junk foods? Is everyone around you talking negatively about other people? Because if that's the case, you might want to think about whether that's the right environment for you to break that habit. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, feel free to hit like, hit share. Also, if you want to book yourself in for a coaching call, feel free. There should be a link somewhere underneath the video to do that. That's it. Miles More Motivation, over and out.